clear. Go!
Welcome everyone, Scimitar here. Well, it is time for a whey protein portion and injection on the most anticipated RPG of, I hope, the next year. I will now highlight and analyze the most interesting, immersive and baddest moments from this almost an hour gameplay demonstration. Let's go! From the very first seconds we see that boobs and genitals are censored. A lot of people were pissed by this, but jumping ahead, there is nudity in Cyberpunk 2077, more than enough, so don't worry. I see these censored moments just as a little move to don't limit video ratings in eyes of YouTube and don't lose views, which is one of the main goals of such a promo videos. We also see that besides effective variety of visual customization points of your character, there are also some sort of tags, classic narrative RPG elements regarding your views and life events before the game time span, which, according to developers, will have a noticeable consequences in story and quests, unlocking various possibilities. Visual customization seems to be pretty big. Body type, tones of skin colors, facial details, hair, tattoos, scars and so on. You can also play as both male and female protagonist. After a visual customization, you have to pick your class and distribute stats, which are strengths, constitution, intelligence, reflexes, tech and cool. First four are pretty self-explanatory. While tech seems to be a hacking skill and cool attribute, I believe is some analog to diplomacy, speechcraft, attractiveness skills and so on. Visual customization UI looks pretty similar to Mass Effect Andromeda for me, but on this moment similarity ends because gosh, I simply was stunned by the level of facial details and quality of makeup of female protagonist. What we can say for sure, that graphics engine here gives the very high hopes. Details of level design are on very high point, whereas text, instruments, scratches on walls, trash, blood, mechanical intestines and scattered paper. When you enter the room and have a quick look around, you can clearly see what this room is for and what most likely happened here. Cluttering of interiors is looking hand-placed, which is given immersion from the first moments. Shooting is dynamic and seems to be pretty dangerous if you won't use covers, special abilities and stimulators. In this shooting scene I also really love the reflections. Their amount is really big, almost everything producing any possible light, even the tiniest light source, is giving reflections, making battle dynamics only higher. Protagonist and NPC's lexicon is not censored, and that's great. Some part of veteran RPG players may dislike the big amount of UI elements showing the distance to enemies, closest quest point and so on. On the one hand, I personally don't like this as well, and it would be just great if hinting UI elements could be optionally disabled. On the other hand, that's a sci-fi universe and technological progress can easily have some sort of real-time GPS navigator inbuilt in character suit or even brain. Another thing, I just want to hug CD Projekt Red team for physics and interactivity. You noticed it, right? The dust falling from the wall after impact, when Jackie is ramming into one of the scavengers, the bottles and boxes flying around, parts of the wall breaking off from gunfire. Holy mayole, have you ever seen that level of physics in RPG? I haven't. Remember I told you not to worry about censorship? Well, here you go. And once again we are returning to the physics. Yes, breast physics is definitely not the most important detail of a game, but I'm pointing your attention on how technically blended it's done. It is not like that jumping breast physics in Skyrim HDT mods, it is much more smooth and so realistic. That tiny moment even that the girl's head is slightly moving when you're carefully carrying her is impressive.
Hey, sup, V? Look, I need to talk to you. Got news as big as my balls.
And I got a hot date with my Ripper Doc.
Come on, Aina, make the doc wait. Pull some pants on your culo and get down here. Subway entrance, and bring your iron.
Okay, Jackie has just told us that he has some big news for us. And we have an appointment with our Ripper Doc today. Before we leave, let's take a good look around our apartment. Good morning, Night City.
Judging from the amount of free slots, your arsenal of destruction will not keep you bored, I think. Jackets as clothing and armor at the same time provides you with various bonuses, resistances and increased experience gain. That's an RPG after all. Now let's go out to the city. Population crowding is, well, even just visually the fact game is handling all this absolutely fine is already impressive. In addition, as per developers, literally each NPC has own schedule and day-night business. At least at this stage, population and NPC AI packages are giving hope to see one of the biggest RPG's immersion problem solved.
You see this cam, huh? Yeah, got a real whack tape, change your fucking life.
Clear on it all, I think. Time I got to work.
Beautiful. Here's hoping my inkling checks out.
So, see you at the afterlife soon as the job's done.
Do good, and this'll be the start of a beautiful friendship based on heaps of eddies.
Cyberpunk 2077 is an open world which you are free to explore. Your car is not the only vehicle you can use. You can drive another car models, bikes and some other types of vehicles developers haven't showed yet. This random encounter of thugs attacking you straight on the road is an example of how even your action during side quests or random exploration, remember we killed a few scavengers earlier, are affecting on the world around you, creating events dynamically. As one more example of RPG aspects, on your first mission, instead of going into straight attack, you can scout the enemies with your optical scanner, receiving information about defense type and so how to better prepare for a fight. The dialogue system is gameplay driven. How you appear before NPC and with which conditions will build your possible dialogue options and answers.
Goodbye. Need to see it.
Suit yourself. Fucking tricked out, state-of-the-art this thing. Don't even got no standard port. Bells and whistles though, dynamic camo armor and motor impulses rivaling that of the human nervous system. Its actuators are actually pimped with titanium fiber, and it can go anywhere, literally. Watch this. Fully integrated link too, so when the spider starts crawling up walls, dangling from ceilings, you could lose your lunch. So, what you think?
Despite game core mechanics itself is mostly about shooting, but not only. You can see all the classic RPG stuff, damage modifications, critical hits, slowing the time due to reflex boosting and so on. At least from what is seen now, sci-fi shooter elements and RPG elements are blending just fine without hurting the overall RPG feeling, which is very important. For example, the freshly installed ricochet target system and our little spider scout shot before, you can see through the walls and shoot the enemies behind the objects with ricocheting shots.
This isn't...
Now comes the part I love the most. You can connect yourself with the brains of freshly killed enemies and hack their attacks, connecting to your enemy's navigation system and a built-in plan, for example. But that's just the top of an iceberg. Using hacking skills further, you can, for example, place a virus into whole enemy squad attacks, breaking connection between the enemies and their weapons, silently and without them noticing that. And then the fun begins. You can now slash the enemies to pieces, in melee without being hurt at all, using the surprise attack and their inability to shoot. That's a really great example of how initially utility skills are directly affecting the combat, and that's just a great implementation of cyberpunk reality. I hope that thanks to this, the game will have various really differing character builds.
Looks like he's having a problem now. Nice.
To summarize, I want to say at least at this moment, the game has met all my expectations. Stunning graphics, hand-placed level design elements, top-notch physics, interactive environment, really alive city, dynamic encounter system and looking good sci-fi elements implemented into RPG with always stuff, consequences, gameplay-driven dialogues, backstories and maybe something else we may have not seen yet. CD Projekt Red is once again showing they can be honest, creative developers that are focused on making a really good game and not changing under that trend of low-quality, illusory AAA projects from bigger studios we see each month. I am happy to make this video for you guys, I am happy to see a real Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay, and you know what, this game is looking freaking great. When it releases, go and buy it.
Shields down. Let's finish him off.
Boy, it ain't going your way, you cunts.
Okay, let's put him down and get this job over.